Never mind. Can't even think about it.
Here's
Can't
something you
even
can
really
say
think
about it. It was written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who also wrote and directed a movie in 1995 called Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
And looking through Anderson's IMDb, he is exclusively video game guy. Every studio that they want to make a video game movie,
They call that guy?
They call him, because he did Mortal Kombat, he did Resident Evil, and he did something else.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Let me pull this up. Monster Hunter 2020. He did a movie called Monster Hunter, which is a video game called Monster Hunter.
Big ass swords.
He did all the Resident Evils. He did a Three Musketeers movie. Death Race. I don't know if that was a video game.
I think that was a remake of an older movie.
Oh, DOA, Dead or Alive.
That was one that when you and I were speaking about the concept of this the other day, I was like, no, I'm not sure he'd even know what the fuck that was. Do you remember that game?
I've never played it, but I've heard of it.
It's a fighting game with very, very voluptuous women.
Yeah, it's hot women fighting.
Yeah, and it's all about the jiggle physics.
He didn't direct that. He produced it, though. He directed Event Horizon, which is not I think it's a Michael Crichton movie, Michael Crichton book. But then Resident Evil. Oh, he directed Alien vs. Predator.
I wouldn't go around telling people that if I were him.
Yeah. Okay, but Monster Hunter was the last video. So he's done 3. He's directed 3 video game franchises, and he's produced at least 4. Because he also had that DOA one.
So
what else has he written? I'm looking through what he's written now. A bunch of all the Death Races, whatever the hell that is. Yeah. Okay. So he's video game guy in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a video game, we got to give it to this guy. Mortal Kombat, 1995.
Okay. Now, lots to say about this movie. We'll save the ending of it, because that's crazy. But first of all, another movie with a lot of talent in it that didn't turn around and end on it. Really, there's one guy who turned around and ended up being something. The guy who played Shao Kahn. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Shao Kahn?
Yeah, not wait, who am I thinking about? Hold on one
Shang Tsung?
Well, hold on, wait. Let me get the actor's name up here.
Yeah, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Yes, that guy has turned around, and I saw him first in like Man in the High Castle, and I was like, I know that guy from somewhere. But
I mean, he's been in a lot of things. A lot of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, Man in the High Castle.
Yes.
TV series. So you saw that, but I mean that's way later.
That's way later. Yeah, that was the first thing I saw with him after Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
where I was like, I know that guy from somewhere.
He's got quite a. I'm looking at his IMDb. He's got quite a resume. He's done a lot of. So from the Mortal Kombat movie, he started doing the voice in every subsequent Mortal Kombat game. Mm-hmm. And then he started doing a bunch of other video games.
Yeah, even the latest one.
He's a voice actor guy. He's done a lot of voice acting in every Mortal Kombat game. He was in the Tekken movie. They made a movie of
You
Tekken.
didn't know about the Tekken movie?
I didn't know about Tekken.
This will go... Well, we need to have a separate one because we haven't even touched on Dragon Ball Z today, my man.
Well, that's not a... But that wasn't a video game into a movie.
That's right.
That was that anime thing you were talking about.
Right. You're right.
But Tekken was a video game.
Tekken was a video game.
Another fighting game. It was just a knockoff of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat being the... actually, maybe Street Fighter. Which one is more definitive of the fighting genre? Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat?
That's a tough one. I would say Mortal Kombat just because Well, no, I was gonna say like you have things like get over here and all of that like cultural stuff, but then you have Hadouken and all that stuff from Street Fighter too.
Chun-Li is a very famous character.
Street Fighter had a movie as well.
Street Fighter had a movie as well.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Van Damme. Bigger star than anybody in Mortal Kombat, except for Christopher Lambert.
That's who played Raiden. Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Fucking Highlander.
Yeah, Christopher Lambert or Lambert, if you're supposed to say it French. I don't know.
Not here, not in America.
Yeah, I call him Christopher Lambert, and that's how I'm gonna call him.
Yeah, but he was the big star there too. Now, okay. Sorry, there was something I wanted to say about the movie we were talking about before, but it just slipped out of my mind. Sorry, God damn it. We can cut this out, please.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I'll be cutting stuff out again. This is gonna end up being like 3 episodes, probably. Maybe even more.
But, that's what I was gonna say. That was the guy that like went on from the original Mortal Kombat to like go on to great success. There's another dude whose name I can't.
Shang Tsung, Kerry Tagawa.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about before. Kerry Tagawa. He went on and like his career bloomed out from there. Talking about the new Mortal Kombat movie for a second, it was just a bunch of nobodies except for one Japanese actor who plays Sub-Zero. Not Sub-Zero, Scorpion, sorry.
I think both of those guys were, pretty well known.
Who's the guy who plays Sub-Zero? I don't remember.
The guy
him.
that plays Sub-Zero, I looked at his IMDb. He does some other stuff. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, I found that parallel interesting after thinking about these movies for this.
Yeah. Because
there's, like, one standout that really, stands out, but it's not necessarily the main character.
Right. We were talking about how in the original one there was not really any star power except for Christopher Lambert.
Yeah, and then somebody who would go on to become a star in
Kerry Tagawa.
Kerry Tagawa.
Hiroyuki Tagawa.
My apologies.
Yeah, it's a long name.
Clarence's apologies.
We're gonna say Tagawa. Or Shang Tsung. But so I'll get right into it and say I adore Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I love
even that ending sequence.
You mean the very, very ending?
Yes. With everything.
That's bad. It's very bad. You mean the very, very end?
Yes. Where they're like in the hellscape sort of thing?
No, that's not the very end.
Or am I thinking about Annihilation right now?
I don't know. I've seen Annihilation once and I don't remember it at all.
Okay, all right. Well, you adore this movie. This is your nostalgia.
Yes. And again, I deserve this nostalgia because I saw it when I was 6.
Don't give me shit about # don't nostalgia shame me.
I'm nostalgia shaming you. All right, let's get trashed in the nostalgia shame corner, okay?
We are in an octagonal room, lots of corners.
Yeah, I've got so many corners. Well, I Resident Evil'd my house, and so I created a lot more corners. Again, my landlord's going to be pissed.
Oh. Stupid.
I adore the original Mortal Kombat.
So, what is one of your favorite standout things about this movie that you just that you glob onto?
Johnny Cage. So my favorite character in any of these movies is the funny character, and Johnny Cage is so funny, and it's very earned. You hear me complain a lot about the awful, unfunny, like sassy quips of Marvel characters.
Right.
I trash that constantly. There's something so like fake and unearned about whenever somebody's funny in a Marvel movie, because it's always some sort of just cheap, well, that didn't go the way I expected. Like it's it's always such a terrible sitcom line in these poorly written movies. Mortal Kombat is also a bad movie, but Johnny Cage is like that same kind of funny in it. But it feels more earned. It makes more sense. He is like an actor. He's a what's it called? He's an actor.
He's supposed to be like a personality guy.
Exactly. Thank you. He's supposed to be a charismatic personality guy because he's a Hollywood actor. He's insecure. The reason he's in this thing at all, he's insecure
about how much he can fight.
Yeah, because everybody's calling him a has-been. They're calling him a Steven Seagal, or they're calling him a Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's a guy that maybe could actually fight, and then but now he's just a movie guy doing fake fights, and it sucks. That's how he gets tricked. So everybody, our three heroes, they all get lured onto this boat in order to be part of this a tournament. Our first hero, Liu Kang, gets lured. His brother gets murdered by Shang Tsung, the main bad guy. Murders his brother. He has a dream of it. He goes back to his temple village where he's from in China, in Indonesia, wherever he's from. And he knows about the tournament. He's the only guy that's like, he's not a fish out of water. He knows what's going on. So he's like, fine, I am going to fight. So that's number one. But he wouldn't have done that if his brother hadn't gotten murdered. He was going to just like not care.
Yeah.
So that's how Shang Tsung gets Liu Kang to show up. The next way, he impersonates Johnny Cage's old martial arts master. He shows up on the movie set, talks to him. He's like, hey man, you're still a great fighter. You want to prove it? There's a tournament. I think you should go. And he's like, you know what, Master Boyd? You're right. I am going to go to that tournament. Thanks for telling me about it, man.
Good. I am good.
He's like, if you win this tournament, nobody will be able to say anything about you. You'll be undeniably great, and all the Hollywood critics can go fuck themselves. He's like, all right, thanks for telling me, Master Boyd. I'm going to get on that boat, and the boat leaves 8 a.m. The boat leaves Hong Kong Harbor. The boat's leaving Pier 8, Hong Kong, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And he's like, okay, I'll be there. He's in L.A. film. He's on a movie set. He's in L.A. It's 4 p.m. He's like, yeah, I'll be at Pier 8 in Hong Kong in 7 hours.
Concorde supersonic jets.
Not only is that not possible, there's way more than 8. Pier 8. Hong Kong is an enormous city.
It's not a gas station where you're like, hey, just 20 on Pier 8.
Yeah, let me just get 20 on 8. Imagine somehow, if you could even somehow get to Hong Kong, he would be like, the boat leaves tomorrow.
Drop me off at the piers. I'll just jump out here.
Yeah, the boat leaves tomorrow. He's like, dude, I got to call. I have an assistant that buys flights. There's not going to be a lot of flights available for tomorrow. It's going to be way expensive, too, even if I do get one.
Can y'all hold it till 8 a.m. the next day?
And look, I don't know if you know this, but Southern California to Asia, that first class sells out pretty quick, okay? There's a lot of Chinese businessmen with lots of money traveling back and forth between these two major centers of commerce.
That's a hell of a weekend, brother.
I can't be sitting in coach. I probably can't get till Thursday. Like, it's just so.
I had to buy a vacation package just to get over here. What am I going to do with this timeshare?
Yeah, so it's a very that's one of those things that they could have just, if he'd been like, be there in 10 days, that would have made so much more sense. But he's like, it leaves another country tomorrow morning.
I'm telling you, this dialogue had to clear people. Just like in any of these other ones. Like,
well, Paul W.S. Anderson wrote this, and he wrote and directed it. Huh. I don't know how he got such like leeway to just be the dude. This is only his second or third feature film. He maybe did one feature before Mortal Kombat. So it's his second, and that wasn't like some huge hit. It wasn't like he did Reservoir Dogs, and now
he's Quentin Tarantino.
And now number 2 is Pulp Fiction. We're giving you complete creative control because the first one was so great. The first one was El Cid. It was like some low
El
budget.
Cid.
Yeah, El Cid.
Wait. That's fucking crazy. Really?
Yeah, that was his first feature.
I watched that movie in Spanish class when I was in like middle school. I had no idea that was him.
Yeah, was it good?
It was actually a pretty good movie.
All right.
It wasn't like something that would be on everybody's radar, though. You know what I mean? That's a very, very popular Spanish language book. And I think it's that movie is based on the book from Spain from, a few hundred years ago, a while back. I don't know.
Interesting. So he's an adaptation motherfucker. This dude adapts shit.
He's the adapter, whether it's video games or El Cid or what was the other one? You said he did a few other things too that were adaptations.
Dead Alive. He did Death Race.
Death Race, another remake of a previous movie.
Was there an old movie called Death Race?
An old movie. I think it starred Charles Bronson. I'm not sure. Let me double check.
No. Charles Bronson is not Death. It's God damn it. Why can't I think of those movies?
I know the ones you're talking about that I'm getting confused
Bronson
with.
movie. The Bronson movies are Death Wish.
That's it.
Yeah, Death Wish was Bronson, not Death Race.
Death Race. Let me see. The most exciting part of any podcast, people looking things up.
Yeah. While you're looking that up, because Death Race was the British guy, the transporter guy, whoever that is, British guy with bald.
Jason Statham.
Yeah, Statham. Anyway,
Death Race 2000, as it's called now, that was from 1975.
Okay.
And so then the rest of these movies.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Cannonball Run?
I am. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, I did just type the word cannonball in place of the word death. What an idiot I am. I'm reading at a 6th grade level now. You guys have to go to the other episodes of this podcast.
You'll have to go back to part 1 of our video game symposium to get that reference.
The symposium.
Folks, we're doing a symposium, all right?
Everybody just calm down, take a seat.
Just calm yourself down, all right?
Maybe grab a snack. We're doing a symposium here.
Chill. We're in the symposium, all right?
Not some symposers.
That's how we get our third heroine, Sonya Blade, on the boat.
And Jax.
Not and Jax. They leave Jax behind.
Because he's black.
There's only room for one black dude in this movie.
And you think they know how to fit more niggas on a boat?
It's not the Amistad. It's it's a dragon. It's a dragon boat that takes you to another realm. It's not a.
They have a separate but equal boat, but it's a gecko instead of a dragon.
That's what? Because not for nothing, people in Asia, China specifically, are pretty racist. They're not thrilled.
Heard that.
They're not thrilled with black people. So that would be funny if they that wouldn't be funny. It would be wrong if they had a second Mortal Kombat boat for black fighters.
It's the separate but equal.
That would be wrong. It wouldn't be funny.
You know what? It would be 3/5 the size of the regular boat.
All right, Clarence, that's junk. All right.
No, it's not junk.
That's junk.
That's a good.
We're not gonna.
I can have that. I can have that one.
You're like, I can't silence your black voice, so I'm not gonna tell you not to say that.
Wow. Thank you.
Let everybody knows. Let's Get Trash is not about silencing black voices.
Yeah. No. Hashtag all voices matter.
Don't say that. That's not true.
That's
That's not true. That's not true.
This voice doesn't matter.
Don't do that. Now I have to silence you. Now you're being silenced.
Okay, all right.
Don't do that voice.
Here, let's get back on track here. They get onto the boat.
So
they go to a new dimension.
They get Sonya Blade on the boat by Kano. All right, Kano. Shang Tsung just hired. Oh, we didn't even get to the point. Master Boyd, who told Johnny Cage,
pardon me,
told Johnny Cage to go to Hong Kong for this fight, is not actually Master Boyd. Shang Tsung
disguised
is a shapeshifter. He can just do that. Apparently, pretty baller. Oh no! Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Let's Get Trashed Revelation Corner. You're watching live on the air as your host, Nicky T, has a revelation about a movie he's loved his entire life.
Nicky T is a trash nickname, by the way.
I know, but I'm trying to use my real name less.
Gotcha. Understood.
Just because one of my 6th grade students found my YouTube channel of me playing drums. And then I was like, oh, shit, they might find this podcast.
Oh, no.
And I don't need my 6th graders seeing this podcast.
Yeah, no. They just better not type in Alistair McGillicuddy.
Yeah. You're watching your host, Alistair McGillicuddy, have a revelation in real time. Shang Tsung's power in Mortal Kombat is what?
Is it illusion?
It's I steal your soul.
Oh, no. That's such a deep implication because that means that...
The reason he can impersonate Boyd is because he must have killed him and stole his soul on the way to find Johnny Cage.
You see, that's so great because...
I never realized that until this moment. You all witnessed it. I pointed at the camera if you're listening to our audio listeners.
But now he's pointing at you. He's pointing at the microphone, and he won't stop for some reason. That's actually a plot point of some kind in God of War Ragnarok. I won't spoil anything there, but
I don't have PlayStation. Do whatever you want.
Oh no! I don't want to spoil it for these guys.
Oh, that's right. There's an audience.
We're going into Christmas. Somebody's about to get that game.
Somebody's about to get God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Don't digress too far. But what's up?
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah, just a very powerful character. Same kind of deal.
Yeah. I didn't realize. So the one guy that Johnny Cage trusts is his old master. That's who convinces him to go to this fight. That dude is dead because Shang Tsung can only impersonate him. He's not a fucking mimic. He can only impersonate him because he killed him and stole his soul. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until right this second. And then Sonya Blade.
That makes this a better movie.
It does. It's great. Sonya Blade is she's a military operative. She's some sort of SEAL special forces.
Like special something.
Yeah, she's a special forces. Her and her boy Jax. Not her boy Jax.
Arms and dangerous.
Her and her friend Jax. But her partner was killed previously by drug lord and gang lord Kano.
Yeah, like made man Kano.
Yeah. So Shang Tsung hires Kano to lure Sonya onto the boat. So Sonya just sneaks onto the boat and chasing after Kano. And then once they're all on the boat, that's how they get transported to this next thing. The other guy, so Jax stays behind on the harbor. He's providing backup. So he's like, I'll cover you while she runs onto the boat. And then we never see him until the second movie. Which Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I don't remember at all. The black dude we do get to see in the movie is his name is Tate.
I honestly do not remember.
So he's another fighter, and him and Johnny Cage become friends because they're like they're the only two guys that are normal. In a sense that they're like
regular ass people.
Yeah, Liu Kang is like he's a kung fu Chinese guy from like a village, and he knows about magic, and he's like whatever. He's still pretty funny, but he's in it. Sonya Blade is a uptight military chick on a mission. She's just not chill.
No.
So Johnny and Nate. Yeah, Johnny and Nate are the two guys. They become friends, and we get just a little bit of Nate at the beginning. He says some encouraging words to Johnny Cage, being like, "Man, I've seen your movies. You can't fake fighting the way you fight. I know you're the real ass dude." Which is very nice. Anyway, we don't see him again until he dies. He's our sacrificial lamb. Nate has to die.
Typical.
Because we can't kill any of our three main characters, but we have to kill a character that we have some sort of rapport with in order to establish how bad Goro is. Goro's the four-armed monster.
Oh, I know Goro.
Yeah. So Goro has to kill Nate. He kills a bunch of people, but he wins like 20 fights in a row, and he's just plowing through red shirts on the Star Trek Enterprise.
There you go.
He's just killing background characters. Nate is the first character with a line of dialogue that Goro kills, and he's one of the good guys.
Brings it all on.
So we got to kill him, and then it's like now it's heavy, and how do we kill this guy? So that's why the great Johnny Cage, who's funny the whole movie, he's like, he steps up and he's gonna fight. He's like, I'm gonna fight Goro. He makes a deal behind Raiden's back. with Shang Tsung. He's like, let me fight him. And Raiden's like, no, I don't agree to this. And it's like, it's not up to you. The deal's already been made. And he's like, it's my tournament. It's human tournament. We have to fight. And then he does an awesome fight, and he fucking kills Goro. It rules. It's such a awesome fight. He immediately goes into a split and punches him in the balls.
Oh, I remember that.
So Goro's hunched over, and then he runs away. He runs away to the cliff, to the edge of a cliff. He runs through a cave, and now he's at the edge of a sheer cliff.
Straight drop down.
Straight drop. Can't even see the bottom because it's all foggy, and there's lightning down below. They're on top of lightning storms.
Damn.
They get into the fight. So Goro, once he recovered from his ball pain,
Probably has 4.
he might have 4. He's got 4 arms.
Double the pain.
He follows him up there. They get into a fight on the edge of the mountain, and wouldn't you know it, Johnny Cage wins and kicks him off. He has the great. He's holding on by one finger. Johnny Cage goes, "This is the part where you fall down," and he, which is one of his movie quotes, which is also maybe one of his video game quotes.
That actually, I wanted to ask: did you play a lot of Mortal Kombat growing up?
No,
Never.
no.
So your introduction and most of your experience has been
I was movie first.
Movie
first. Video game way later.
This was one of those cousin games. Like my cousin had a Sega Genesis or an N64 or whatever it was. Not N64, a Nintendo or Super Nintendo. And this was one of those. Like we would all sit in a room on Thanksgiving and just on a shitty little CRT TV just play through this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was always my introduction. I never got the story stuff.
Yeah, I never knew much of the story. Again, there's not much story to be had. Again, Mortal Kombat is an arcade game that they eventually put on consoles.
And then had to build around and create.
And it's just an arcade fighting game. And they just give you some text background. There's no progression. There's no it's just you have to win this tournament. I don't even know if the whole concept of humans versus like Outworlders, the Earth realm, Earthworm Jim is another.
This is Earth Realm Corner over here.
Earth Realm versus Outworld. I don't know if that even played into anything until the movie came out. I think it was just you fight every character, and then once you beat every character, you win. And the last one is Shang Tsung on the arcade. And they just had some text background. Every 10 years, there's a tournament, whatever. But the movie, again, it's a blank slate. The video game's a blank slate. And the movie gets you the ability to write what you want. And I think Anderson did a great job with it.
And that probably factors in because like you were talking about with Resident Evil.
Yeah.
You were talking about with Resident Evil how he, deviated so far away from this. It was I'm not sure if this is anything there, but on his previous experience, like with things like Mortal Kombat, he was given the wheels and said, it's possible he was given the wheels and said, hey, make this work. Build a script around this. Build a story around this, a narrative.
Right. Well, you get to create a story. Again, it's on the blank slate, you get to create the story. Resident Evil had a story. And you could have just gone with that, and he didn't. The problem?
That's what I think it was. Yeah. Unchecked power, like you were saying.
He's more successful. This movie was pretty successful, I think. Certainly enough to get him that Resident Evil franchise in 2002. Death Race was 2000, wasn't it?
Death Race 2000 was in 1975, and then there was another one that came out in the mid 2000s.
Okay,
and then they just went from there.
Because Resident Evil was 2002, so whatever he had between then was. He was successful enough to get the keys to the Resident Evil franchise. Nevertheless, I love this movie. I love Johnny Cage. He fights my favorite Mortal Kombat character, which is Scorpion.
You're a Scorpion guy.
I am. I love Scorpion. He fights and beats Scorpion, who's my favorite.
I liked the robots even though they were shit.
What robots?
Cyrax and I forget the other one's name.
See, I don't know enough about the video game to even know who those characters are.
I'm not sure that they ever showed up in the live action adaptations.
Right. They didn't show up in the movie.
I don't know about the latest one. I know there was this series that was on the internet that they showed up in, and it was really, really fucking cool how they integrated them. But that doesn't count for the purposes of this conversation.
Right. Yeah, there's been a bunch of Mortal Kombat stuff over the years. There's another TV show. There's like a short TV show with like 10-minute episodes.
Wait, you're talking about that one that has Michael J. White in it?
Yeah, Michael Jai White.
Jay. Sorry, Mr. Michael J. White. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. The
live action thing.
Yeah, they show the origins of those guys.
I only saw the first episode. I think I tried to watch it and then I just got bored.
Worth it. I'd say
I might give it another
time.
look.
Yeah,
but anyway, this was great. Johnny Cage was funny enough. He's funny. Carries the movie. Liu Kang is really funny in this movie. They have just good personalities, and it's like real kung fu or whatever kind of karate that they're fighting. I thoroughly love the original Mortal Kombat.
The piece that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
No, go ahead.
The piece that I love about this movie that's the most enduring for me, is the soundtrack. Do you remember?
Of course.
That boom,
Dun.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Mortal Kombat. And then they use the quotes, because one of the things that they do have to do, and it's cheesy, but I still really enjoy it, is they take all the lines from the video game, victory, flawless victory, finish him, fatality, all these kinds of stuff that the announcer says whenever you win a game or you're about to win a game. Because that's what was great about it. It was whenever you had beat somebody but they hadn't fallen down yet, the announcer would say something like "finish him," and then they gave you a chance to do a final move and get a bunch more points and do a super duper kick, and then that would make the guy's head explode or whatever. You could do something cool, or you could just do a regular. If you didn't know how to do that kind of stuff, you just do a regular punch and it just falls down.
Yeah, step on his toe and they'll fall down and you'll die.
Exactly, whatever.
He'll die.
But all those lines, all those iconic video game lines, they just incorporated them into the movie, and it's a little cheesy when it happens, but it's just fun. And then the fact that they kept it so true to the spirit of the game is, I think, why the movie triumphs more so than these other ones we've talked about so far.
That's an interesting observation, and it kind of makes me feel, or kind of makes me understand something that I feel about these, because the movies that they made back then, before everything was a $200 million superhero movie, they had to get a little creative, and they had to also make sure that they were going to make their money back and things like that. So they had to do a certain amount of that kind of fan service you were talking about and integrate it in a way that was, okay, this may be cheesy, but whatever. And that became part of the fabric of that kind of thing. I think about the Blade, well, maybe not the Blade movie. There was another movie I was thinking about that, pardon me. Long story short is, this is before there was a precedent set of just throw a bunch of money at a movie. It's going to be successful or it's not, and we'll make it up on the back end.
Interesting. Well, you're also kind of saying that this movie is responsible for all these, or movies like this kind of, in a way, are kind of responsible for how these Marvel movies are nowadays with, quips and then references. They just do they do little references to comic books. If you're a person that loves comic books, you'll recognize some little tiny background feature, or you'll recognize a line, but they just put it in there and change the meaning or change the context, or it's just literally what we would call an Easter egg. What they in movies and TV and cinema and stuff like that, they call those Easter eggs.
Yeah. Because you have to go looking for them.
Yeah, it's just a little thing you might look for. So these are, I guess you could call these these references Easter eggs,
like a proto Easter egg kind of, or at least for these kind of movies that are based on.
Yeah, I can't think of what was going on before Mortal Kombat, that if that kind of thing was around. But I mean, taking a big video game franchise and an arcade franchise specifically and putting it on the big screen. You know, I don't know how successful Mortal Kombat was. I know the second one was really bad, but I think the first one was good enough to warrant a second one, and Paul W.S. Anderson didn't make the second one.
He famously passed on the second one, I think.
Why?
This is one of those things that I definitely don't know the real story behind.
Okay.
But I think he was working on another project, and I think that project became Resident Evil.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's completely true, but I know that he passed on it famously. I'm not sure if he had a bad experience on it or something like that, because it seems like that launched his career.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So
it certainly did.
I mean, that the two aren't mutually exclusive, but I do know that he was wanted back, and he did not accept.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he lost enough of his cast, because I know they recast a lot of characters for the second one.
Sonya Blade, they recast.
They recast Sonya. Okay, so they
and
lost
Johnny as well.
Yeah, they lost Sonya and Johnny. I guess Liu Kang came back.
They did not get Christopher Lambert back.
Yeah, they had a different Raiden.
That's correct. And they actually, I don't know if it was the budget or if it was just like an overreaching thing on the budget allotted, but the overall quality of that movie was just simply not, it didn't look as good.
It looks a lot worse. And there's some really heinous CGI in the first one. Reptile.
Oh my God, I forgot about Reptile.
Reptile, the lizard running, when he's in lizard form before he becomes a human. When he's in lizard form, it looks like, it looks like Toontown. It looks like,
yeah.
It would look better if it was a Roger Rabbit. If it was Toontown, he would look better than the early the 1995 CGI looks.
Yakety sax anytime he's on screen. Just
they should just do a cartoon guy running across.
I'm sure somebody online has reanimated this stuff, like the Corridor guys on YouTube, or like some of these guys who just play with After Effects and stuff for fun. Yeah, I'm sure that they've reanimated this stuff, probably in some way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. The CGI and the overall look of Annihilation is shit.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah. Or Armageddon, not Annihilation, sorry.
It's Annihilation as well.
Okay, Armageddon's one of the video games for PS2 then.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Okay, yeah. So Doom 2019 is called Annihilation, and then Mortal Kombat 1998 is called Annihilation as well.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Those are both Annihilations.
They need to find some...
We need to make up more words.
Yeah. Yeah. Other long A words.
Armageddon and Annihilation. We're getting a...
Mortal Kombat, Asshole-a-Nation.
We're putting a lot of miles on those two words, folks. Stop trying,
Stop trying to make everything an Armageddon or Annihilation.
Yeah, stop trying to be so cool with it.
You're looking desperate.
It's not the end of the world. Just chill.
Actually, one of the...
Babies.
Well, both of the... They're both the end of the world. Wait a second.
Okay. 2021, the new Mortal Kombat comes out.
Yes. Now, completely invented the main character, Cole Taylor or something like
Cole
that.
Young.
Cole Young, that's it. Played by, for some reason, a vaguely Asian or whitish man. First problem I have with this particular movie, the dragon-shaped birthmark.
You didn't like that part of it?
I didn't. Like, how are you going to not notice that your fucking birthmark looks like a dragon your entire life and then be like, oh. But don't get me wrong. Let me say this first. I do like this movie. This is a modern good, bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also came out during lockdown and stuff like that. We were all just consuming a lot of media, but I like this movie fine enough, especially since it updates Mortal Kombat. But that birthmark thing, I was just like...
Interesting.
Yeah,
I liked that part of it.
You liked the birthmark?
I thought it was a unique facet of it. I don't know how necessary it was. but I thought it was really unique.
Okay, all right.
So
That's fair.
and I like having a little bit of a more mystical thing to it. The only people that can compete are people that have been, selected by
birth.
Yeah, or by chance or by taking one. It's not just whoever's on this boat. Because don't forget, if Jax had
Made it.
run with Sonya to get on the boat, then he would have been there too. It's just it's just tricking Johnny Cage into going, all this kind of stuff. They're just people on the boat. The birthmark thing makes it, or the dragon marking, which they knew it looked like a dragon. That wasn't a thing, because when one of them goes, "What's that dragon scar on your chest?" He's like, "Oh, I've had it since I was born," or whatever. But anyway, I kind of like that. It added a little bit of mysticism to it. It was a new thing. It didn't. I thought it was pretty neat.
One highlight from the beginning of the movie: the introduction of Scorpion and the man who would become.
That opening scene is great between Bihan and whatever Scorpion's rule. So between Sub-Zero and whatever Scorpion's rule name.
Yeah,
it's
Proto Scorpion, Proto Sub-Zero. Yeah,
it was interesting. The only thing I didn't like about it is that it never told us. It didn't give us any reason why they did that.
Yeah, no reason for the conflict that they came into.
Exactly, because even right off the bat, Sub-Zero, Bihan is Japanese, and Scorpion is Chinese. So when they have their little face-off after Scorpion's running through the woods, his wife and son are dead.
Yep,
and covered in ice. He's running after a dude, and he finds Bihan with an ice ball in his hand. He's like, "Clearly, you froze my family and killed him. I'm about to fucking kill you right now." And they go back and forth, and then one of them said, but they're one speaking Japanese, the other one speaking Chinese, and then so Scorpion or Sub-Zero says all this. He says this whole little gangster monologue of he's like, "You thought you could retire from your life of combat, but I'll never let that happen. I'm going to kill you." And then Scorpion goes, "I don't understand your language, but I do know that I'm about to fuck you up. I do know I'm about to kill you." And so they don't know each other. I don't know why. They're not from the same country. I don't know why one of them was sent. I mean, he already has ice powers. Scorpion doesn't have
his hell powers yet.
Yeah, he doesn't have his fire powers or his whatever kind of shit yet. So they didn't do a good job of explaining why this is happening.
There are some other things they didn't do a good job of on this movie.
Well, that's true. And let's talk about
basic.
I guess we'll talk about a couple. They introduced the new concept of the arcana.
Right.
Your arcane powers, your secret, deep-held power.
You have a special move.
You have to uncover it. And training and times of trial will if you stress enough, you'll unleash it. That's how we get it out of you. And that's how they explain everybody having these superpowers.
I do want to say real quick, putting a pin in that, I like how they integrate a lot more of these finishing moves in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's like how you were talking about
the fatality
all that. Yeah, I like how they do that. It does feel cheesy at times, but the one that gets me is the one with the hat where it throws it and cuts.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is the good guys are all from Earth, so they have to discover their secret power somehow.
Everybody else
through trial and tribulation. Almost everybody else is like a zombie monster from another.
Yeah, from what would be Outworld.
They're from it's still Outworld.
Yeah,
they're from Outworld. They're from another planet, so they just have these zombie powers, or they just have not zombie powers. I've said zombie a million times in this symposium, so
It is a symposium,
I'm used
by the
to
way.
it. It's a symposium, folks. They have these whatever they happen to be. That one chick, Myrina, who's like a vulture, the one that flies and has a big mouth with the sharp teeth.
And the little purple thing over.
Yeah, the purple one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a half vulture, half hot chick. And she dies in a spectacular fashion. He does the buzzsaw. That's a pretty sick.
That's exactly it. Yes.
Kung Lao.
Kung Lao.
I wanted to say Kung Pao, but I knew that wasn't it. Kung Lao does a buzzsaw. He has a sharp hat. The thing I didn't like about the Arcana concept of like how you discover your secret power is that it's dumb. In the fact that it tries to make shit. Why is Kung Lao's secret power that his hat is sharp? That's not a power. That's a thing.
He has the power to sharpen any hat he wants. That's it.
He goes to some hat store and buys like one of those little Jason Mraz hats.
Yeah.
And
You got the poison, I got the remedy.
Yeah. So whereas his cousin Liu Kang, who we see again, he can do fireballs. That's pretty sick. That makes sense. That's a good power.
I would get upset if I was the one that got stuck with hat sharpening, and then my cousin showed up and was like, "Oh, I got my Arcana
I
too."
can just make fireballs. Yeah, that's a really good one. Kano gets a really good one, even though he turns evil.
Yeah.
Kano can shoot a laser beam out of his eyeballs.
Yeah, he gets,
And Kano is brutally funny this entire movie. Mortal Kombat 2021, Kano is MVP because he's so funny the whole time. He's great. He made me laugh. I just watched it last week or recently. I rewatched it. He made me laugh a dozen times.
we are finding that humor is a big, important thing for you in your Mortal Kombat movies.
In almost any movie, yeah, but for sure. Yeah, it's very important in these movies. That's another thing that Doom and Resident Evil are totally bereft of.
They take it too seriously.
There's not a single person trying to be funny.
We're not even trying to be funny. There's no charm in any of those movies.
Easy money, there's no charm. That's exactly correct. There's no charm.
Yeah.
Kano being an aggressive bully and being mean is so funny. When he finally gets his superpower, he goes, "Oh, it's better than fireballs, you pussy." He's just disrespecting. He's the only guy that realizes this entire conceit of a story is ridiculous.
It's insane, and he's going to be there and point it out.
He's so much fun. He's such a fun character. I'm bummed he's not going to be in the sequel.
Jax. Let's talk about Jax for a sec.
Jax has the worst. Jax is even worse than the hat.
I hate the fact that they gave him those little chicken leg arms at first.
Yeah.
So he gets his arms frozen off.
Uh-huh.
And then they're like, "Oh, well, we can equip you with new arms."
They give him these awful prosthetic arms.
They look like twist ties
Yeah.
on frisbees made out of metal connected to his shoulders.
In this temple, in this like martial arts temple. Not even
This
like
is ridiculous.
Not even it would have made. And how did they even have the ability to create these metal arms in this dirt floor temple? This is not a sanitary hospital environment. It would have made more. He's a Navy SEAL or whatever. He's a SEAL team.
He's like
something. He's a Green Beret Special Forces guy.
He kills a lot of people and he does it good.
It would have made more sense if after his arms get frozen off, he's found by the military. They take him to a military hospital. They give him some shitty prosthetics.
We gave him.
They give him state of the art military prosthetics, but they're still not that great.
Yeah.
But either way, his superpower, his hidden power, is the ability to turn shitty metal arms into good metal arms.
And if he had never lost his arms, he never would have discovered it.
Yeah.
He never would have.
What would have happened? What would his power have been? It didn't even make sense. He should have just
Like they should. The military thing makes a lot more sense.
Or he should have just had no arms, and he's like, I'm going to become a guy that only kicks. I'm going to become a kick-only type of fighter.
Yeah.
And then during the middle of something, his arms grow.
Yeah.
His metal arms. He just grows metal arms.
And they don't even have to be metal. They just have to like appear to be metal.
Yeah, they have to be metal,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. That's still fine if he grows. But that's another problem with this movie in particular is. But
this goes back to the Arcana thing you were talking about.
Yeah, the Arcana thing. But it goes back to what we were talking about with Doom, as far as why are we doing zombies instead of demons? Why is zombie more believable than demon? They're both not real. So why did you pick zombie to try to be more realistic? They wanted everything to be more mystical in this new Mortal Kombat. They didn't want, because in the video games, like once they started, later video games started giving more backstory to these characters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sonya Blade, she can shoot like lasers out of her arms, and that's her special power. And then Jax's special power is these robot arms. It's and Kano's special power.
It's an implant.
Yeah, he has a laser beam implant. Those are all. This movie is supposed to take place in a technologically more advanced world. They just have this technology. So some of the fighters have like natural gifts they're born with. Liu Kang does the fireball thing. Some of the fighters augmented themselves with technology.
That was the deal with the robots I was talking about.
Yeah, in the other show.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they wanted to homogenize it so they all get their powers just from like discovering it. But I don't know why that's
a better storytelling device than just leaving it as it was.
Why is that better than let them have a Q branch? Let them have a the James Q from James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Let him have one of those guys who's like, I built you some metal arms, doggy, check it out. Or let me put this shit in your eyeball to give you laser beams.
My theory is that it's easy. Well, obviously it's easier storytelling, but for the reason of you don't have to do that legwork and make a 3-hour movie, showing this is how Jax did it. This is how Sonya did it. This is how this. You say the Arcana, and then that sets it up for everybody.
Well, and
right?
it becomes they're trying to do a thing where everybody has to overcome something.
That's also another
in
part
order
of the storytelling.
in order to unlock it. Then they want everybody to have that same kind of journey, which I don't think is necessary. Let this dude buy metal arms.
Yeah. Yeah.
From an arms dealer.
That's trash.
I'm sorry, folks. That was a bad one.
That was actually pretty good. But yeah, you're right. It's equally as unbelievable. It's just you have to do a lot more work to tell those stories, in my opinion. Anyway, I think that's part of what it was, and exactly what you were saying. They give somebody something to overcome by default. It's not like Jax had to face life without arms and then had to suck 7 dicks for a nickel and then get metal arms that he bought and put on. Don't do that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. I now we'll get to kind of the worst part is our main character. Cole Young is the worst part, right?
Yeah, well, okay, so his Arcana, probably one of the stupidest ones.
So first of all, he's kind of I was going to say something incorrect. He's not a Mary Sue. He's not overpowered because he loses. He's a constant loser. I don't know how to explain it. He's not a very good character. He's a loser. He's a down on his luck fighter, but he has this birthmark. But he's had it forever. He didn't kill somebody to get his like everybody else in the movie.
Brand new character, by the way, to the franchise.
Brand new. He's never been seen before in a Mortal Kombat video game or movie. He's our fish out of water. he's the character we're supposed to relate to more so than anybody else. I think Sonya Blade could have been that character instead. She's still kind of a fish out of. She knows more than Cole Young, but only because she's been doing research on this. I think we could have started her story, and I think she should have been our main character. Much more.
That's an interesting take.
Also, once Cole finally overcomes adversity and becomes and uncovers his superpowers, his superpower is armor. Literal.
No. It's golden skin armor. It's not like he gets. Well, yeah, it's armor, but the fact that he like grows his skin into armor is what annoys me about it.
Well, I'll tell you. We've talked a little bit about tropes and cliches throughout this symposium.
It is a symposium.
It's a symposium, folks. I've mentioned that. I mentioned probably on a previous episode, maybe part 2 or 3. I mentioned that we had the plot, or we had the trope of the "it's my last day, it's my last rodeo." I'm about to retire. We had the "I'm about to retire" guy.
Right.
There's another trope called plot armor. Plot armor is when a character, the only reason a character survives is because they need to for the story, but in any logical understanding of the story, there's no reason for them to survive.
Any other day, any other place, wouldn't have happened.
Indiana Jones hides underneath a refrigerator.
Inside of a refrigerator for a nuclear explosion.
He hides inside a refrigerator, and he survives a nuclear explosion. The reason he survives that nuclear explosion while hiding inside of a fucking Frigidaire from the 70s is because that is plot armor. We need Indiana Jones to survive, so no matter what he does, no matter where he hides, he's going to survive.
That's plot armor up even through him getting out, because anybody who lived through like the 90s always heard about kids getting into refrigerators and not being able to get out on their own.
Oh, yeah.
How the fuck did he just like will of force his way out of a latch-handled 1970s steel refrigerator?
Old fruit, yeah.
Yeah, fuck all that. But I get what you're saying.
Our main character has literal plot armor.
Yes.
His superpower is plot armor. He has armor that grows, and now he can't die in a fight.
It grows out of his skin, and he's just fine.
It's gold. They give him these 2 different little swords that are both kind of cheesy and lame.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Although gold is an excellent conductor of electricity, so if you just walk up to that motherfucker with a 9-volt battery, and that's
there. You go.
But anyway, yeah, Jack's tiny arms, the chicken arms thing. My least favorite thing about this movie. Just had to say
easy. Yeah, you know what? If
it.
I understand. My least favorite is Cole's armor, but that's a number 2. I can't argue with you. I've got a few notes.
Let's hear them.
So we talked about Sub-Zero, his original name Bi-Han.
Right.
When he's talking to Shang Tsung, once again our main bad guy, Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung calls him Bi-Han. He goes, "I am no longer Bi-Han. I'm Sub-Zero." But I just wrote down, "I'm no longer Bi-Han, a samurai who speaks. I'm no longer Bi-Han, a man who speaks Chinese. I'm Sub-Zero, a monster who speaks English for some reason." I don't know why he, in our opening credits, our opening scene, he only speaks Japanese, and now he lives in this monster world. His soul belongs to whatever. He's he's the evil Sub-Zero. He speaks English.
That monster world is the United States of America. That's why. Oh, harsh indictment.
Political commentary.
America first. What's up, guys? Can't say that.
Here's another one. You want to really trash America?
Oh shit!
When at the very beginning, when Jax loses his arms, when Jax and Sub-Zero are about to fight,
right?
Sub-Zero obviously cold as ice. Cold as ice. I wrote down. I wrote the quote. Jax, I'm not afraid of you. I've done 6 tours, motherfucker, and he gets into a karate stance. I've done 6 tours of motherfucker. And I'm like, I'm sorry, was the United States military using karate in Afghanistan? Because I think I figured out how we lost that war.
That's true. It would have been. I've done 6 tours, motherfucker. Then he digs a trash pit.
Yeah.
And burns a bunch of trash and gives himself mesothelioma.
We sent our special forces over to 6 tours in Afghanistan. First of all, we were in Afghanistan for 20 fucking years. That's way too long. He did 6 tours in Afghanistan, all doing karate. So guess what, folks? That's where all your tax money went since 2002.
To your local dojo.
Yeah, it went so our Navy SEALs could do fucking kickboxing against Al Qaeda.
Don't worry, sir. We'll get him this time. We're sending in our Tai Chi division.
Yeah. Again, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about. Just stop trying to make the movie more realistic.
Yeah, just
let it be wild and crazy. Video games are wild and they're out there and they're super stylized, and then they try to make the movies, they try to like ground them in reality, but then it leads to these like weird jokes. When Sony is first telling Cole about Mortal Kombat, they have to include this line, or they think they have to include this line, where he goes, look, they spelled Mortal Kombat wrong. Like, they spelled combat with a K. It's like, you didn't have to do that. He could just live in the world where that's what's fucking you up, dude.
Just like Doom. Remember, don't you see? This place is hell. It always was.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing. They felt they had to include that line. I like that turn of phrase you just said.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that. Why are you correcting the spelling of an ancient martial arts tournament that you found out about? You just found out about it 2 days ago or 2 minutes ago. Yesterday you were attacked by a guy with ice hands. There shouldn't be. I would never. If I got attacked by a dude throwing icicles at me, I would never talk about anything else for the rest of my life.
Well, I mean, and even that, it's like, bitch, look at a newspaper from Philadelphia in 1750, and you're going to see a lot of things that they spelled quote unquote wrong for you. Chill the fuck out that you were able to even discern what they were trying to say.
She's reading like hieroglyphics, but it's all once again Sumerian or fucking, it's all ancient hieroglyphics.
It's just a bunch of cookie stamps that they bought from Michael's.
Yeah, so it's all a bunch of weird shapes, except for the words Mortal Kombat is just in American letters, and then everything below and above it is fucking, it's just,
oh, look at all the things that they got right.
Yeah, don't even worry about that. Again, Kano's funny. Yeah, okay, I got my zombie thing here. Kano's so funny. There's one scene again. There's one scene where I already talked about him calling Liu Kang a pussy. It's like, I got laser eyes. That's way better than fireballs, you pussy. There's another scene where he's just like standing there, and like Liu puts his hand on his shoulder, and he goes, "The fuck!" Like, he just, and then he calls Raiden Gandalf, which makes me laugh as well. Kano's MVP of this movie is Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jax's internal power is slightly better robot arms. That's what was in his soul.
Right, exactly.
In his heart of hearts.
When he was out on his patio or deck as a kid and looked and wished upon a star, all he was thinking about was, I wish I had robot arms instead of these tiny black arms.
In the depths of a person's like humanity, that's what it is. They say when somebody's about to die, that's when you see who they really are. That's what this whole concept of we're awakening your arcane innermost humanity, and that is slightly better robot arms is what you have.
That's what he wants, man. Hey, you know what? I want that for the world. Like, especially for like the amputees of the world, slightly better robot arms, great. For somebody with tiny little chicken arms, that's like gonna go fight in an dimensional combat tournament, I might ask him for like a substitute. You know, if that's my Arcana, somebody to get Jax out of there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My Arcana is a sub. That's actually really funny. My Arcana is that I just don't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. My Arcana is a temp.
I would if it was me, I'd be like, can my Arcana be like, I don't want a match to start till like 1 p.m. Yeah. So just my superpower is that you just never schedule me for an 8 a.m.
And
fight.
That's a soft one.
Never schedule me for an 8 a.m. Yeah, it's a soft one. Never schedule me, maybe even a 3 because I kind of want to digest my lunch. Give me a couple hours. Never
be a long session.
My superpower is you just never schedule me for an 8 a.m. because I just can't. It's too tough to wake up that early. Because you got to wake up at 7 to warm up. You know, it's a whole thing.
And then you got to load in, load out, load in, load out.
I know. I got to tape my wrists. That's like 20 minutes. So
squeeze one out.
Let's maybe a 4:30 fight. Is that too late?
And then the electrolytes. I got to let those absorb. Let's start at 8. Let's just start at 8. We'll start at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I got a friend.
I will say, last thing we'll say about this movie, unless you have anything else.
I'm good.
Okay. Last thing as much as we're trashing it, I really like the new Mortal Kombat. And I hope they do a second one, and I can't wait for it.
I do think that movie was worthwhile. Of all the movies that they released for free that year on HBO Max,
this was the best one.
This was one of my favorites. Dune also came out, and I did like that movie.
Oh, yeah. Dune was better. That's right.
Yeah.
But Dune came out in theaters, didn't it?
It did come out in theaters as well.
Okay.
But wait, did it? I don't know. I watched it at home, so I don't know. But
I watched it at home.
Yeah. If it did come out in theaters, that probably would have been the way to see it.
Dune was great. Dune was better than this, 100%.
Yes. But that's not to say that Mortal Kombat was a bad movie, and I agree with you. I do want to see a sequel.
Yeah, I hope they do a sequel because they teased Johnny Cage at the very end.
Yes. And that last fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero was not bad, although they did have to, again, say get over here.
Yeah, they did all that. Again, the Chinese Scorpion, he's been in hell for 1,000 years. So when did he learn English?
English is the universal language, man. I don't know.
That's true. You know what? There's a lot of colonized people that would say that English is the language of hell. And we hear you on this podcast.
What if you got to hell and you noticed that their national flag had a distinct British influence? Like it had been colonized and then liberated at one point.
The British ran hell.
It's got like a Union Jack at the bottom left-hand side and then just fire and brimstone.
Bit, yeah. You go to hell and Satan, he spells color COLOUR, and you're like, what? He's like, that's just how I learned, man. Don't question it.
Hey, is it GREY or GRAY? It's actually GREY, and don't ask me about it again. I hate this question.
You're like, why does hell have a tea break at 3:00 every day? It's like they forced.
You know what it is?
They forced it on him.
Because they had English breakfast that morning, which is hell.
Oh, yeah, having to eat beans.
Beans on toast with tomatoes, and we're going to fry the shit out of an egg and give you blood sausage with it. But don't worry.
I mean, blood sausage is good, but I've never had the English version of it.
I have never had blood sausage. I'll tell you that right now.
I've had morcilla, which is a Colombian and probably other parts of South America. I think it's very good, but I'm sure the British do a terrible version of it. This is an anti-England podcast, folks.
We are not Anglophiles here. Hashtag not an ad.
We all know that, okay?
We live in Texas.
I'm sure Shang-Tsung stole the Queen's soul. That's why she died.
She's back now. Look at her. Queen Elizabeth is.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth. She's coming. If you see Queen Elizabeth anywhere, it's Shang-Tsung.
100%.
All right. One last thing. They did kind of a mini. So this is all before the actual Mortal Kombat tournament. That's the other thing, is that the tournament doesn't even happen in this movie. The tournament that determines whether or not the victor gets to invade the loser's realm.
Oh yeah, Yeah, because that's the whole point is that
They have to win 10 in a row.
Yes.
And they've won 9, and rather than just thinking they're going to win 10, they're trying to sabotage. They're trying to sabotage our fighters, folks.
That's it. They want Earth Realm for various reasons.
But we're going to see that tournament hopefully in movie 2.
I'm crossing my fingers here.
Yeah.
Although, there's a big shake up over there at
That's
Warner
true.
Disney.
It probably won't even come out. They probably won't even make a part 2.
I hope they at least publish a script book or something like that.
I don't want to read it. I don't want to read Mortal Kombat. But they did a
Cue
little bit of
music.
when they finally got all together. They're like, all right, split everybody up. Send me and this bad guy over here. Send Jax and Reiko to a spooky bridge. Send Kano and Sonya back to her trailer and make them fight. And so we got kind of a mini tournament. Everybody's fighting in these different, very Mortal Kombat
reminiscent
scenes, except for the Sonya fight. Sonya and Kano, they fight in her trailer, which is a great fight. Close quarters. Everything else is like, you're on a bridge. You're over a bridge over a river of blood. It's all that kind of shit. Video game shit. Who cares? But the trailer park fight is a really, really good one at the end.
I felt a little bit of a Kill Bill vibe.
Yeah.
From that Kill Bill Volume 2. You remember how they fight in the trailer?
Yes. When she fights Daryl Hannah.
Yes. Daryl Hannah. Yes, that is her name. The mermaid from Splash with Tom Hanks way back in the day.
Okay.
Great movie. That's one I reserve the right to have nostalgia for.
Okay.
Please watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
I don't have Disney Plus. And also,
I
think I've seen parts of it. I know what Splash is. I don't think I've ever seen a whole thing, but I don't like Tom Hanks in general.
That's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
Let's go to the hot take quadrilateral over here. We're running out of quarters.
We're running out of corners, folks. This is ladies and gentlemen, we're on the hot take couch here at Let's Get Trash Industries.
We only have one couch, and this is it. Hot takes.
Speaking of things getting hot, we're gonna wrap it up. All right, thanks everybody. You can find me at Let's Get Trashed Pod on Instagram, or you can find me Get Trashed Pod on Twitter. Just follow those 2 things, please. On any of these episodes, I guess I should have. I might include some stuff. I might cut this section and copy and paste it into the end of every episode.
That's going to be great because everybody will have to look through the entire episode to know why the fuck it's the same between all 3. I like that idea. That's tight.
All right. So I'm doing that. You're seeing this at the end of the first hour. Guess what? You're seeing it at the end of the second, third, and fourth. So follow at Let's Get Trashed Pod on Instagram, at Get Trashed Pod on Twitter. Like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know. Here's the comments I want to hear from you. That you love me and that I'm handsome and that I'm doing a good job. And then also I want to hear comments of what video game movies did we forget? What ideas do you have? We didn't even talk about like my ideas for the Legend of Zelda, what they should do if they ever make a Zelda movie, what they should do if they ever do a something, what they should do if they ever do a something.
Any other, because there are various other upcoming video game adaptation movies coming up as well. We didn't get a chance to touch on that.
Yeah, the only one we talked about was Mario.
Yeah. It's
whatever.
Me.
Let us know what you think.
Mario.
It's wahoo. Let us know what you think, folks. Let me know what your favorite video game movie is or favorite video game. I'm never going to talk about my favorite video game TV series, which is The Witcher. Well, I hate that TV series, but I love the video game and the books are the best thing in the world. Whatever. I'm digressing. Thanks, everybody. Let's get trashed. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.